Hi friends, I'm Megan and I go by Solar Glow Meditations. Tonight we're going to have a how-to session for using dowsing or divining rods. Before we get started, you're going to want to get yourself a pair of divining rods or dowsing rods. I got mine off of Amazon. They were about 14 bucks and they're made out of copper. I'm pretty sure the copper is necessary, but if you find some other ones for these purposes, they will work. If you're trying to do water dowsing, it might not work so well. One of the great features about the dowsing rods is that it has a kind of this handle on it so that when you actually hold it, it flows freely without you actually having to move your hand at all. And so yeah, you can hold them and they spin in your hands without having to do anything. Well, except the motion. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're going to want to come into your dowsing rod session in a very calm, relaxed, kind of meditative state, if you will. It's great if you want to take some time to do some meditation beforehand and just set the intention with what you want your session to hold. So a lot of times I'll just take a few minutes to breathe. You can listen to a guided meditation. I have a bunch of them on my channel if you're so interested. But you really want to just find yourself in a quiet mind, relaxed body state. That really helps to allow the dowsing rods to do their thing and to not have them be forced by your hands, if you will. So meditative state, copper dowsing rods. Once you get there, one of the first things before I start the session, I'm always very grateful to whatever entities I'm talking to, but you also want to set the intention for who you're talking to. So it can be your higher self, it can be a spirit guide, it can be a specific deity or god, whatever you think, believe. If you want to talk to ghosts or fae, not my thing, but totally up to you. Just make sure that you, of course, are using protection, you're well grounded, etc., etc. Okay, so once you actually go to use the dowsing rods, you're going to want to do a basically an intuitive level setting with the dowsing rods, especially when you're starting to use them for the first time. So you want to make sure hold them wherever it makes most sense for you. I usually hold them a little lower, but for the video I'll hold them a little higher. You want to set what the parameters are with whoever you're talking to as you do the dowsing rods. So I personally like to cross the rods for yes and open the rods wide for no. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure that they're working and that you set what the yes-no answers are if you're using a yes-no question option. You can also do A/B testing. So if you want option A, cross the rods. If you want option B, open the rods, and you'll get the take of whoever you're talking to on what their answer is. So just to start off with, I do like to say these out loud. I find it works a little bit better. You can try it in your head if you feel a little bit weird talking to yourself. Totally understand. It was a little weird for me too when I first started, but here we are. So if you're with me and willing to answer some questions, could you cross the rods to indicate yes? And could you open them wide to indicate no? Thank you. And then I always like to ask for them to point to the direction of their energy. So I'll say, can you point to the direction of your energy? And nearly always whoever I'm talking to is on my left. I think in the camera that might be the right, but don't quote me on that. But I always thank them as we go along. I want to show gratitude for whoever I'm talking to, because this is really a relationship that you're building with whoever you're talking to. So you can ask questions like, am I talking to my spirit guide? Oh, okay, that's good to know. I didn't actually know. Am I also talking to my higher self? No, thank you. So in this case, it's my spirit guide. Thank you, spirit guide. So yeah, so that is how I use dowsing rods. And then I like to come up with kind of a series of yes/no questions ahead of time, or kind of have a topic in mind that you're thinking about. So is it in my highest and best good to have turkey for dinner tonight? Yes, thank you. Is it in my highest and best good to also have dessert tonight? no answer. And that's probably because it might make me feel great, but maybe it won't help with weight loss or my health goals. So that one is really a heads up in the air. And as you kind of start to do these things over time, you'll start to get some nuance in your answers. So sometimes the rods will open with a slow yes or a slow no, and it could indicate some hesitation in the answers, like maybe most of the time it's a yes, but there are specific scenarios where it's a no, or vice versa. Or it could just be that the entity doesn't want to answer for whatever reason. Maybe you're not meant to know at that time. Or maybe it's just more nuanced. Like, for example, should I have dessert tonight? Like, it could go both ways if it's in my highest and best good. So, let's see. I'll ask one more question because there's been kind of some feedback on some of my videos before this about whether or not I'm talking to demons. So, am I talking to a demonic entity? No, thank you. I'll wait for them to kind of go back straight. And then I'll ask, have I ever talked to a demonic or negative entity using the dowsing rods? Yes, interesting. Thank you. And in talking to them, did they lead me astray? No. Thank you. So thank you to my higher self, or I apologize, my spirit guides, for those answers. So that's the basics of how you use them. Really just make sure that you're aware of who you're talking to, that you have good intentions, that you're building a relationship with that entity, and really thanking them for their time and energy, because it does take some energy on their part to help you with this. So with that, please let me know if you have any questions, if you'd like a follow-up video, and I thank you for your time. And as always, it would help me greatly if you could subscribe. Thanks.